Hello, my friends. I, Forum Patel, would like to welcome you all to the third lecture on the legal theory, or rather the jurisprudence. Now, I hope you understand the first two videos in which we discussed the concept of the rights, the definition given by different jurists, and the kinds of the rights. Now, when you are clear with the extensive understanding of the concept of the rights, that would make us to move on with the next concept, which is the concept of the duty. So friends, when we are talking about the duty, we discussed this word when we were talking about the rights. Why? Because discussing about the rights without the duties, or rather discussing about the duties without discussing rights, it is not possible, right? So let's get started with the understanding of the concept of the duty. Now, on screen if you can see, I have given certain definitions which were given by certain jurists for the concept of the duty. Now, what do you mean by duty? An act which one person ought to do, the opposite of which is wrong. That means, my friend, that duty is an act which one person should be doing, and if that person fails to do the act, that will become wrong. Gray defines it as the acts or forbearance which an organized society commands in order to protect the legal rights or legal duties of any individual to whom those commands are directed. That means, my friends, that duty means, according to Gray, that the legal duties, they are commanded and directed by the law. So if you do not follow those duties, consequences shall be there lying. Now, Salmon states that duties are basically of the two kinds, moral duties and legal duties. So every individual must be doing both of the duties when the concept of the duty, of course, is being discussed. For an example, a son is under the duty to feed his dependent parents. Now, can you charge him if he does not do so? So that becomes his moral duty. But if that son has entered into a contractual obligation, or rather in a contract with any other person to do certain act, that would make him to do that act legally. So that is the reason Salmon has stated that there are two different kinds of the concept of the duty. Now, it is, as I stated, that it is an obligation, it is a legal sense. Duty means a legal obligation. So, even Hibbert has defined the legal duty as the predicament or a person whose acts are liable to be controlled by any other person with the assent or the assistance of the states. So that means Hibbert is trying to define the concept of the duty along with the legality of the same. Now, as we saw that there are different kinds of the rights, there has to be certain different kinds of the duties that one person needs to fulfill. According to Salmon, there are only two kinds. One is legal and the other is moral. But in fact, if we analyze the different jurists' definition, we can come to the conclusion that there are different kinds of the rights. You can see it on the screen. The first is positive and negative duty. Second is primary and secondary duty. And the third is absolute and relative duty. So friends, what do you mean by the positive and negative duty? When the law obliges us to do an act, that duty is called the positive duty. But when the law obliges us, or rather it forbears us, it stops us from doing certain act, that, my friend, will be called the negative duty. Now, I hope you remember this positiveness and the negativeness of the concept, because we have discussed this concept way back in the video of the rights. We discussed the positive rights and the negative rights. That time we talked about the positive duty and the negative duty. So it carries the exact same meaning. That one person, when is having the duty to do some act positively, when the law encourages that individual to do that act, that will be known as the positive duty. But when the law stops or forbears that individual for not doing that act, that will be called as the negative duty. Next is the primary and the secondary duty. Primary duties are those which exist per se, or rather independently. And for an example, like you can't cause injury to any other person. Now that's a primary duty of an individual. But when we are talking about the secondary duty, it is that which is not in existence independently. That means secondary duty is the duty to pay damages when you are hurting that individual. So not hurting would be your primary duty, but if you have not fulfilled that duty, then repayment of the damages would become your secondary duty. All right. Now let's move on to the third kind as written on the screen, which is absolute and relative duty. Now, according to Austin, the relative duty is one for which there will be corresponding duty, but absolute duty is the one which does not have any corresponding rights to be fulfilled. So, friends, these were the concepts of the definition of the rights as well as the definition of the duty along with its kinds. Now, we stated in the definition of the duty that one act that one person is ought to do and not fulfilling that would become wrong. So, that means we must now understand what do you mean by wrong. So, an act contrary to the rule of law or right or the justice is what you call wrong. A synonym of it is injury. In legal sense, it is known as injury which is against the law or just. That means, my friends, that as Salman stated that there are two kinds of the rights. Duties. According to Salman, there are two kinds of the duties. One is legal and one is moral. Now, when you are not fulfilling the legal right, that would be legality that would be following. But when you are not doing something morally, which is your duty to do, then that would be wrong. That won't be just. So, wrongs are both legally and morally. An act which is contrary to the rule of the rights and the justice, that will be wrong, and the consequences will be there following the same, and that will be the injury. That injury must be protected by the law, and it is of course against the law. That means the wrong is an act which is there after for when it occurs when the duty is not being fulfilled. So this means that wrongs is very much relevant when we are discussing the concept of the rights and the duties. Now that makes us going back to the first video where we discussed the correlationship of the rights and the duties. As I stated in that video that we shall be looking into this aspect in a detailed way. So let's move on to the discussion of the rights and duties correlation. So friends, we did discuss the concept of the rights and the duties. So understanding their correlations, I am not going to repeat the definitions. Alright. It is very much obvious that the legal rights and the duties both are simultaneously there in existence and they are related to each other. So we can have a natural correlationship between those two. Now, thus it will be clear from the discussion that rights, duties and wrongs, all these three terms are somewhat relevant as I stated earlier. Now we can conclude that the rights has the following important components to be fulfilled. That right is an interest which is recognized by the law and also protected by the law, and it has to be respected against any other interest of any other individual when that other party is under the duty to fulfill the same act. And if this interest is not in respect, then the person who is disregard has committed the wrong. That means that fulfilling the components of the rights concept, we do have to discuss or correlate somebody else's duties along with that. Now, according to Austin's view, a state can have no legal rights against the subject that is erroneous. Now, all duties are relative, just, and all rights there are also relative. So, there can be no absolute duty, and Austin's classification of the duty into absolute and relative that may make it sound not so light. Now, as we did hear it out that there are different kinds of the rights and the duties. In that you must have seen that the positive right is the right which is there with the positive duty and the negative one is there with the negative duty. So that means that to fulfill or rather to give complete attendance to one concept, the other concept has to be discussed. If the discussion of the other concept is not taking place, then the relationship establishment is no longer there. And that would mean that the rights will not be complete without discussion of the duties. This distinct definitions or rather this different components, this different kinds, if we look into all this aspect of the jurisprudence, we definitely can come to the conclusion that there do exist a correlationship of the rights and duties. and also of the wrongs, of course. But can you think of certain duties which do not have any corresponding rights? They are the duties which are known as the fundamental duties, which one individual has to fulfill against the state. Same concept is there when we are talking about the fundamental rights. So that means that there are certain rights and duties where the other party's obligations of fulfilling the other duty becomes secondary. When it comes to the fundamental rights and duties, it becomes secondary. But I'm not saying that it will not be there in existence. It has to be there, but the importance given would be the secondary. So with this, I would like to state that the concept of the rights, duties and the wrongs has been discussed in a very elaborated sense. So friends, in the next video, we shall be discussing the status of different individuals and the concept of the title. Till then, keep reading.